The episode begins in a very unusual way, with a strange commercial for a doll playing with another doll. But this game doesn't feel innocent at all. There's something unsettling about it, in the movements, in the rhythm, and especially in the uncomfortable music. The moment that really sticks is the real child inside the commercial, whose face clearly shows he doesn't want to be there, almost as if he's forced to play a role that doesn't belong to him. The commercial isn't just showing a doll, it's presenting the idea of transformation. The character starts resembling the doll in a disturbing way, as if the message from the very beginning is clear. This child could lose his humanity and turn into a manufactured, controlled version of himself. What's strange is that Clarence doesn't react to the commercial as something scary like the rest of the class does. Instead, he seems to see it as something normal, maybe even familiar. Then comes the moment that exposes the contradiction. Clarence pulls the doll out of his backpack and hugs it gently, while the faces of the kids and the teacher look shocked, because they can all feel that something about this doll just isn't right. Clarence tries introducing the doll to the other students like Sumo, but he runs straight into a wall of cold indifference. Then comes the cruelest moment. He tries to say hello with the doll, but it ends with the child bursting into tears. This is where the episode starts playing with one of the deepest fears a child can have, trying to belong, trying to connect, yet everything somehow turns sad or embarrassing without a clear reason. Clarence feels guilty, stops playing, and the tension inside his head begins to grow. 5 minutes pass, but they feel like hundreds of years, because for children, time isn't measured in minutes, it's measured in emotion, and the episode understands this perfectly. Moments of social rejection feel endless because they hit directly at a child's sense of worth. This is where the real psychological transformation begins. Clarence needs a quick explanation for what's happening. He has literally started becoming a version of the doll, so he chooses the easiest answer. The doll is the problem. He takes it into the woods and buries it. But this isn't just burying a toy. It's an attempt to bury the source of embarrassment, rejection, and anxiety. It's as if he's saying, if the doll disappears, I'll go back to being me, and people will like me again. But he returns to school depressed and empty, with no desire to even play, because the problem was never just the doll. The real problem was the internal feeling the experience created. Here's the terrifying idea the episode presents. Burying the thing you blame doesn't erase the effect. It just leaves you hollow. It's as if Clarence lost a part of himself. Then the days start passing, and his personality shifts for the worse. His appearance changes, his behavior changes, his presence becomes strange and unsettling. Not because he's become evil, but because he's become disconnected from himself. One of the kids says something shockingly brutal. You've changed. You're cool now, like you're dead inside. It sounds like praise.
Cool. Yeah, I mean it. You're like the new tough guy in school who's like totally dead inside.
But it's actually the harshest description possible. Being admired only after you become cold, emotionless, as if your humanity has faded. Now the episode reaches the point of the opening commercial. Clarence literally starts resembling the doll. It's as if the doll wasn't just the cause of the problem, it was the blueprint of what he would become. He turns into a rigid version of himself, behaves strangely, and even becomes violent when provoked or mocked. After being punished, the teacher tries to understand what happened to him and gives him the doll back. It seems she even dug it up from where he buried it, and in the end, Clarence walks out smiling in a very strange scene. But it's not innocent happiness. It feels more like the happiness of a child who got something back that belongs to him, even if that very thing was the reason for his transformation. And finally, he and the doll mirror the commercial perfectly. Child plus doll plus an uncomfortable bond, as if the episode closes the circle and tells us that this transformation was never just a joke, but a complete psychological metaphor. This is one of my absolute favorite Adventure Time episodes. An episode that pulls you into a strange, quiet atmosphere. A world that looks simple on the surface, but is unbelievably deep underneath. The story begins with Jake and BMO building a house out of pillows, laughing and having fun, completely lost in the game. But Finn seems sad for some unclear reason. While everyone else is enjoying the moment, he feels something different. He crawls between the pillows, and suddenly finds himself falling into an entire world made of cushions and soft fabric. A vast place with no clear way back. A strange world. Quiet, childlike, soft. No real threat, yet still unknown. Finn dives deeper into this world, saves a group of pillow people from a dragon, and is brought before the king. There he meets a kind girl, the king's daughter, and they dance together in a warm, simple moment that feels like the beginning of a new life. Finn tries to find a portal that will return him to his original world, but he fails. Years pass, and Finn grows older inside this world. He becomes a father. He becomes becomes responsible. He lives an entire life in full detail: joy, problems, conflicts, responsibility, love, and loss. At some point, he hears about a portal that might take him back home, so he begins searching for it. But time keeps moving, and Finn grows old while trying to reach it, even losing his arm in this world, just like we saw in the other dimensions of the series. Many long years pass, and Finn becomes an old man on his deathbed, and when he dies, we see something strange. He jumps over Golb, the being that represents absolute chaos, only to suddenly wake up and find himself back in the real world, a child again, just as he was. And the strangest part of all the years he lived there were only a few hours in the real world, as if it had been a long dream, and he barely even remembers it. The episode never explains whether it was a dream, a parallel world, or a psychological escape. One of the smartest psychological episodes in Danny Phantom, especially when it comes to building Sydney's character. Sidney Poindexter was a student at Casper High in the 1950s, a quiet, nerdy kid, an easy target for bullying, and the one who suffered the most humiliation in school. He was locked inside locker 274 almost every single day. Just imagine the psychological horror of a child living that scene daily. Echt cuss. For an unknown reason, Sidney died, and his death became tied to that same locker, leaving him trapped inside it within the school that became part of the ghost zone. Through the mirror in that locker, he watched Danny bullying others. He didn't see the context, didn't see that Danny was getting back at Dash. All he saw was a strong kid humiliating a weaker one, exactly like what used to happen to him. When he managed to leave the locker and fought Danny, a more dangerous idea came to him: to enter Danny's body, take control, and send Danny into the locker so he could live the same humiliation and bullying Sidney once endured. From here, Sidney started acting kind to people, but in the wrong way. He wasn't trying to be good out of growth, but to compensate for what he lost. He wanted to be popular, loved, to live the life he was denied. Endlich cool sign. Meanwhile, Danny tries to escape the locker from the other side, living the same isolation Sidney once felt. In the end, Danny breaks free, fights Sidney, defeats him, and destroys the mirror. The strange irony is that Sidney, despite everything, made Danny popular in the real world. The truth is, Sidney isn't a ghost who wants to destroy the world. He's a child who never moved past his trauma, a kid stuck in the idea of "I am the victim." He didn't see the full picture, only the reflection of his own pain. The locker isn't just a place, it represents isolation, emotional shutdown, and feeling invisible, which is why his identity became tied to it. He's not evil in the traditional sense, but a lonely, wronged child trapped in the past, unlike Danny, who has friends, support, and a life that helps him face pain instead of becoming it. This episode is truly crazy from Rick and Morty. It is true that most episodes of the series are already crazy, but this one is a little different. At the beginning, a giant head appears in the sky, and everyone believes that Earth will be destroyed. But it turns out that these heads are cosmic beings who love music and force planets to enter a singing competition, and the planet that fails gets destroyed. Rick analyzes the situation and decides to represent Earth with Morty on a space stage to sing in front of those beings, but their first songs were failures. The strange thing does not happen in space but on Earth, because when people hear the song, they believe it is a sacred message from the sky. So a new cult appears, and some people try to exploit the situation and turn it into a religion. Even Jerry joins this cult, and as the group becomes extreme, they decide that whoever does not believe in them should be thrown from a tall building. In space, the competition continues, where several planets sing in front of the giant heads, and every planet that presents a bad song gets destroyed immediately. Then it becomes Rick and Morty's turn again, and if they fail this time, Earth will be destroyed. So Rick improvises a new song that strangely succeeds, and with that, they succeed in saving Earth, and when the heads disappear, the cult suddenly collapses. The episode is full of satire about humans and how they can give sectarian meaning to anything strange or not understood, in addition to the absurd idea of the heads running a singing competition between planets.